weeks ago in the senior lounge, when I received a pet fish from my ringy, I mentioned that my little sister would probably love to take care of it. A classmate sitting across from me looked shocked and blurted out, "You have a sister?" I was so caught off guard and confused by her reaction. Of course I have a sister. But then I realized that it made sense why she might not have known. Unlike many of you who have siblings, mine is only half my age. Melissa's only 9 years old, but she is one of the most important people in my life. Honestly, when I first learned that I was going to have a younger sister, I was slightly less than thrilled. I loved being an only child and I didn't want anything to change. I'll embarrassingly admit that in my 8-year-old mind, my sister's Christmas Eve birth seemed mostly to mean having to wait to open my Christmas presents and having to share my parents' attention for the rest of my life. So loving of me, I know. My opinion of baby Melissa changed immediately after seeing her. I have always loved her unconditionally, and I am honored to have someone who always looks up to me and is proud of who I am. For most of my life with Melissa, though, we haven't been very close. Our age gap prevents us from having too much in common, and our schedules are so different that I usually don't see her until the late afternoon every day. That's not to say that we never talked to each other. I just never went out of my way to make a deeper connection. Last spring, in one of my first college meetings with Miss Dean, I told her that I was mostly interested in schools on the East Coast. She asked me how I felt about being so far away from my sister, which was something that I had never thought about before. I started to cry right there in her office because I realized that the 4 years that I'll be away will be the 4 years during which Melissa transitions from a little girl into a teenager. There's nothing that I can do to change the fact that I will be leaving for college next year, nor do I want to change that. But I do have the ability to change my relationship with my sister. In the past few months, I have made an effort to be more involved in Melissa's life. We talk about her day at school, play dates, or anything else that comes up. And sometimes we just lie down and cuddle together in my bed, though often to the frustration of our mom, since our cuddling usually happens at the same time that she is trying to put her to bed. This might mean that I live an extremely uneventful life, but my favorite part of each day is when Melissa texts me entirely random messages from downstairs. Her texts vary from the occasional YOLO to sassier comebacks like, quote, "You are trespassing, this house is for VIPs only." Or, quote, "Duh, unlike you, I wasn't born yesterday." She makes me laugh every day, and it is so awesome to watch her grow up and start talking like me, which actually might not be so awesome. My advice for you is to not waste any time in doing something that you are passionate about. For me, it was growing closer to my sister. Especially for us seniors, we only have a few more months at home before we will go our separate ways. It's easy to think that 7 months until graduation is a long time, but it's never too soon to start improving relationships and appreciating what we have here. I'm going to cherish and make the most of this last year that I have at home with my sister and the rest of my family, because I know that no matter where I end up next year, they will always be here waiting for me. Thank you.